So we've done a tribute Superbird before using the Janik parts. So we're doing a tribute Daytona. You guys remember we did the Hellbird a few seasons back. We had Ryan, our technician, do it. And the craftsmanship that he did on that tribute car with the final fit and finish of that car was second to none. And that car looked like an original, minus the engine, I get it, looked like an original Superbird. So when it came time to do the Daytona, we did the exact same thing with Shane, doing the exact process, and the end result is gonna be the same as the last time.
Now, if you guys recall back to our Superbird when we converted it, that's the Plymouth Superbird, and of course the other wing car is the Dodge Daytona Charger. Now, the reason I mentioned the Superbird is because we're doing a Daytona right now. And another reason I mentioned the Superbird is we're using the same company, Janik, that provided us with the Superbird replacement conversion pieces on this Daytona. Putting these parts on the car and starting with a good part, not just something that sort of looks like it, but is right for the car, is very important. And that's why I wanted to share all the things we had to do to convert these pieces to go onto the car. So this is our original 1970 Charger fender, just the way it was made at the manufacturer. The things I want to point out that need to be converted for this fender to go onto a Daytona. One is, you see the 70 Charger side marker opening. That's a nice original side marker opening, and it would take the lamp in it for the 1970 Charger. The valance panel that you see would go through here real nicely, intersects with this part of the fender, which is just a stationary part. This right here, this metal is built into this fender. This is what a 70 Charger fender looks like. But we have to change some of that because of the Daytona. Now on the other fender, this fender has been modified. This has already had all the changes necessary to be able to put it onto a Daytona. So if you look at the side marker opening, in comparison to the side marker opening on the original 70 Charger fender, you see this is welded up. That's because the valance panel for the Daytona has the side marker in it, and I'll show you that in a minute. The other thing is the valance that goes on a Daytona is wide. That's what this huge, monstrous gray thing is here. That's actually a lower valance panel. It has to go all the way across this opening. So what we had to do is on the original fender over there is we had to cut that out. We had to cut it a little bit long from where we were going to fold it up into place, so that when you look at the back here, you can see we now have a lip to bolt that onto. Here, when I hold it up into place, you can clearly see that it fits that plane now, that you can put the J-bolts in it and hold it into place. You also see that our new Daytona valance has the hole in it for the side marker. If this piece of metal were here, like it is on the original fender over there, and I tried to bring it in, you're gonna see I got a problem. Now another thing, of course, the Daytona gets is these scoops on the tops of the fenders. These come in the kit from Janik right here. That's pretty much clean it up, sand it down, make sure it fits nice, and you're ready to paint that. But what's underneath it, doing that correctly and emulating the original one. So here you see this is original metal with the right pattern and the right grid. I don't know what those numbers are, but Shane, who put this on there, got in the book and found out what they were, and we ordered some of that material, cut it to fit, and then we used our car liner spot welder to spot weld it in place, so it absolutely looks 100% factory. Now he'll have to do the other one here shortly that needs the conversion on it, but for right now, that's what that looks like. The only other thing to talk about are the headlight bucket modifications that have to be made on a Daytona from a regular Charger. In addition to cutting off the small section there on the fender so that it'll accept the valance, you have to also remove the headlight buckets, because 69 Dodge Charger had hideaway headlights, had real 4 headlight system in it. That is different than the Daytona, which pops up as a hideaway concealed headlight and sets out considerably further than the factory one. So removing that and making it look correctly in there, so if somebody down the road looked at that fender, they go, wow, that must have been an original Daytona fender. Those are the things that are a real claim to fame for us, and we pay attention to the minutia. What I want to show you was this headlight mounting bucket that you see right here. This is the factory mounting bucket that would take the 2 headlights and all the wiring would go in behind it. A Daytona, because of the flip-up headlights on it and the design, doesn't need this. The headlights themselves, the concealed headlights, they house the buckets in it. So what we have to do, you can see, is take this unit, drill out all of the spot welds so that when we're done, we have a nice clean finish. But that's kind of the 1, 2, 3s of how the front sheet metal, not going into the nose cone, which is a whole nother thing, but kind of an idea how that front sheet metal from the fender standpoint to valance have to be converted to be able to work.